Miami, Florida, on New Year's Day night is always an exciting place to be because it's the site of one of college football's great events, the Orange Bowl. This year, it's a rematch between two of the best teams in America, the number 2 ranked Florida State Seminoles and the 4th ranked Sooners of Oklahoma. As always, the Orange Bowl is sold out, the game culminating a week-long holiday celebration in Miami. 76,000 are here tonight to watch Bobby Bowden's Florida State Seminoles with one of the best defenses in the college game. Try to stop the Barry Switzer Oklahoma Sooners, a team averaging 450 yards a game offense. They've both won 7 straight. It's a perfect night, Miami, cool and clear. Just right for one of the biggest games of the college season. The tension has been building. A short time ago, our NBC cameras were permitted in the Florida State locker room, where the drama for this matchup was set.
Okay, Neil, hey, I'm paying attention to that Georgia ball game today. We can't control what Georgia and Notre Dame did. I really still think if you go out and have a great football game, if you could go out there and dominate somehow, you know, you still have to get some votes for the biggie. If not, let's fight like mad for the Orange Bowl championship, and let's fight for number 2, huh? That's not bad, is it? But you're gonna have 80,000 people watching on TV. You're gonna have millions watching at home now. Your mamas and your dad's gonna be watching. All your friends are gonna be watching. You're playing for your hometown. You're playing for your state. You're playing for your university, and you're playing for yourself. So it's your last one. You make it a great football game. Okay, just do your best. That's all you can. That's all I ask of you. Do the best you can do.
Welcome to Miami and the 1981 Orange Bowl. The Seminoles of Florida State, the Sooners of Oklahoma. Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year from Miami, Florida. I'm Don Crickey, and we're delighted you can be with us for what could be the best of all the College Bowl games. The 2nd-ranked team in the country, Florida State, the 4th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners in a rematch from a year ago. Florida State comes in with the number 1 defense in the country against scoring, giving up only 7.7 points a game. Oklahoma is averaging 450 yards a game offense, so something's got to give. And to tell us about it is my broadcast partner, John Brody. John, what's going to happen in this one?
Well, Don, I can't predict what's going to happen, but a lot of people have stated that Oklahoma is so swift, Oklahoma is so strong. Oklahoma's darn good. They may be the best team in the country right now, and about 8 different teams are claiming it. I think athletically, Florida State can handle up with them.
Bobby Bowden, the Florida State coach, says of Oklahoma, their backs have the one thing you can't teach, and that's pure, flat-out speed. What do you do to stop that speed?
I'll tell you what, you have comparable athletes, you have a lot of awareness, you use all your quickness, and in my opinion, what you do is you have 2 outstanding linebackers, which the Seminoles have. They've got Paul Purowski and Reggie Herring. These 2 guys key the center of the defense. Ron Simmons, their nose guard, was 9th in the Heisman Trophy balloting last year. This year he's been hurt, but he's coming into shape. They've got a lot of people, going to show a lot of different defenses, and I think that's the way they're going to handle them if they do.
The Seminoles of Florida State. Oklahoma coach Barry Switzer admits that his is a high-risk offense. He says we turned the ball over a lot. In fact, in the first 5 games, we left it on the field more than we put it in the air. They fumbled 36 times in the first 5 games, but when it's clicking, it's some scoring offense.
Yeah, sure it is. But so what? You know, when they throw 6 interceptions, they never say if we didn't throw 6 interceptions, we'd have won. They said they blew you out of the tank. What's happened is defenses occasionally keep Oklahoma's offense from being as effective as it can be. But you give me J.C. Watson, I'll let him fumble all he wants. He always ends up on the scoreboard.
Well, they've won 7 straight, and they are ready. The Florida State Seminoles, the Sooners of Oklahoma, the 1981 Orange Bowl kicks off in just a moment. The Oklahoma Sooners, dressed in white, representing the Big 8 for a 4th consecutive year in the Orange Bowl, set to kick off. And there is their barefoot kicker from Dallas, Texas, Michael Keeling. He's also their placement specialist. There's some real speed back deep for Florida State. Number 44 from Griffin, Georgia, sophomore Ricky Williams is back deep.
See, Don, both sides do have a little speed.
We'll go. And they're both up for this one as it's a rematch of the 1980 Orange Bowl. You may recall that Florida State went out in front early in that game, and then the Sooners came back and won it 24-7. The kickoff, Williams took it in play, so he's got to bring it out. To the 10, out to the 12-yard line, and that's about all as the Sooners cover nicely. And Florida State goes on offense 1st and 10. At quarterback, a good mobile throwing quarterback, Rick Stockstill. He's a junior. His fullback is Mike Whiting. The best runner is tailback Sam Platt at 600-yard games. Hardest Johnson, 1 wide receiver, caught 9 for touchdowns. Kurt Unglaub is the other. Sam Childers will be the tight end for the Seminoles. They've got a big offensive blocking wall. Set to go. Here's the pitch back. Running with the ball is Sam Platt. The Sooners don't give him much. The Florida State offensive line is as big as Oklahoma's, and they're both pro size. Tom Brannon's the left tackle at 260. Lee Adams the left guard. John Madden is down over the ball at center. A couple of real standouts on the right side. Greg Futch and an All-American player, Ken Lanier. He's the best offensive lineman for the Seminoles. Both teams coming in with 7-game win streaks. Handoff on a 2nd down and 5 play. Running with the ball is Sam Platt. He gets across the 20 out to about the 24-yard line. It looks like he has enough for the first down. It's Keith Gary, the left tackle for the Sooners, knocked him down. They were worried about him, John, coming into the game. Sam Platt suffered a mild shoulder separation against Florida in the last regular season game. But he's all right. You see the season he had, he would have had 1,000 yards and he'd been able to play the full game against Florida.
Well, it must have meant it, because when you have a mild shoulder separation and you're a running back, that's what you use most to defend yourself, and it must be well or he wouldn't be playing. Certainly not running the way he did.
They go right back to Sam Platt on the 1st and 10 play from the 23-yard line. Sam Platt takes the ball across the 25-yard line out close to the 29. The Sooners are big and quick on defense also. Steve Whaley's the left end. Keith Gary, a big defensive tackle. The middle guard is Johnny Lewis. And the right tackle, regarded as the best defensive lineman, 96 Richard Turner. The Sooners set up on defense now. 2nd down and 5 for Florida State. Stockstill yet to go to the pass, goes right back to the run. And with the ball is Sam Platt. This time working into the right side of the Sooner defense. Sam Platt takes the ball out to the 33-yard line. The backers for Oklahoma, number 50, Mike Riley. He's from Miami. And Mike Coast, he was the leading linebacker tackler. Very aggressive players. Darryl Sanji's at the left corner. Ken Sitton playing the right corner. Jay Jimerson, one safety position. Basil Banks at another. They're going to make some changes in that defensive secondary of Oklahoma, possibly. They've had some injuries. They've also had some injuries to their wide receivers.
Short distance, we're going to have a first down. Okay. Here we go. 3rd down.
Clock was running.
Yeah, thank you.
Sam Platt's been the only carrier in the game so far. He's run the ball 4 times for Florida State. He's picked up 20 yards so far. See Barry Switzer's remarkable record. Oklahoma, the winningest college team of the 70s. He took over in '73. His 8th year at the top at Oklahoma. 8 years. They've been in bowl games. 8 years they've won or shared the Big 8 Conference Championship. Twice they've been national champions. On a short yardage play, Stockstill calls his own number, takes it right in to the Oklahoma middle guard and gets the first down. So Florida State, which last year, John, could not run the ball against Oklahoma, is doing all right early.
Yeah, let's remember that when we talk about speed, we talk about size for Oklahoma, but when we talk about the offensive line for the Florida State Seminoles, these guys are averaging about 250, 253. They've got fine speed, they coordinate very well, and they put together 2 good-looking first downs.
On 1st down and 10, Sam Platt again gets the call for Florida State. He's knocked down by Mike Coast. Bobby Bowden's a folk hero up in Tallahassee, Florida, now in his 5th year. His career record, he came there from West Virginia. He said when he first went to Florida State, things were pretty tough. They were 0-11 7 years ago before he came in. He said they used to lose once in a while, like once a week. That's all gone now. And Florida State is one of the powers in college football, ranked number 2 in the nation. Stockstill keeping it on the ground now, has a long yardage play. 2nd down and 11. Over the middle he goes to his tight end Childers, and Childers moves the ball ahead, gets it out to the 39-yard line. Mike Riley made the knockdown for Oklahoma, but Florida State moves it out.
Don, let's give Stockstill a little credit. He wanted to go to the wide side. You notice they've got a man in motion. He's trying to get somebody open in his own defense. Oklahoma's playing it man-to-man when they go into a slot. He comes off to Childers, who's been on a little delay pattern. In order to pick him up on the first pass play of a game, it shows you're ready to play. 1 for 1's a way to start.
3rd down and 5 now. Here's a flat pass. Oklahoma has it hemmed in, and the Sooners make the play behind the line of scrimmage. On 3rd and 5. Hardis Johnson, the wide receiver who took the flat pass, is knocked down for a 5-yard loss. So the Florida State first possession of this game is stopped And the ball goes over to the Sooners for the first time out of punt. Nobody has a better kicking game than Florida State. They've got 2 All-Americans. Their punter is Ron Stark. He's averaging over 45 yards a punt. He was named first-team All-American in 2 polls. So was the place kicker Bill Capice. Stark, a decathlete from Minnesota, booms it downfield. The ball is taken by Jay Jimerson inside his 20. He's got it broken for the moment. Jimerson coming across the 30 as the full cartwheel and is down outside the 35-yard line at about the 36. Ron Stark, the punter, got him himself. So Stark's first punt of the night, 48 yards, the return of 15 yards. And we'll be back at the 1981 Orange Bowl after this.
We pick up the action late in the first half with the score still tied at 0. Florida State has the ball on the Oklahoma 39, 3rd down and 3. Will Florida State be the first to score? Find out as we continue with the 1981 Orange Bowl here on ESPN Classic.
Twice Oklahoma's turned it over on fumbles. Here's the fake, and Stockstill on a naked reverse gets ahead and dives ahead for a first down. Boy, he's playing a game. Rick Stockstill takes it himself, goes wide, gets a block. Orlando Flanagan knocked him down, but the Seminoles have a first down at the 33-yard line of Oklahoma.
Good call at the right time. Look at the pursuit of the Oklahoma defense. Everybody's taking a move, having to go at it. Stockstill judges the tempo of the game, knows everybody's in great pursuit, keeps the ball himself without any leader. He probably didn't even tell the flanker back because he didn't help him much on the block, kept the ball and picked up the first.
First down it is. Back to the run. No, it's a fake, and Stockstill's going long. He's got a man open. Dennis McKinnon. There's a penalty marker down in the Oklahoma secondary. Great fake by Stockstill. Held the backers, and then he let her rip to a wide-open Dennis McKinnon.
And it was between the receiver and Sanji. I don't know who it was on, but it was where the ball was thrown, and I do believe it was on Sanji.
No. It happened on the man going out for the pass. It was about 3 yards downfield.
Bring the captain up. What you say?
Well, it's going to give him the first down. Where's the spot of the foul?
The spot of the foul is 3 yards beyond the line.
It is a defensive pass interference call, which gives Florida State a first down.
Yeah, that's right.
It'll be down there where it's
No,
playing.
he said it would happen down here, so it's going to start right here.
That's rare to me, Don. He said it happened 3 yards down the field, and yet he threw the flag about 15. Now,
He'll make the call.
All right, we have defensive pass interference on the defense. Accepted penalty is an automatic first down.
It was an incomplete
First down, that's right.
Okay.
this is why you don't give up when you see a penalty thrown. Now, neither the receiver nor the defender knew the penalty was called. I do believe the receiver thought he was in perfect position to grab the ball, could have kept Stockstill's average perfect and them right inside the 10, but
Well, time is a big factor now. The clock is down to 1:35 to play in the first half. Still no score on the board. Stockstill is off. Ricky Williams busts it, and Ricky Williams takes it all the way down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. From the 32 to the 19, a gain of 13 yards, and Orlando Flanagan saved it from going the distance. And now Florida State, John's going to take a timeout with 1:30 to play in the half.
you bet. Tom Brannon, Lee Adams made great blocks at the point of attack, got a little help from Michael Whiting. When you get 3 good blocks at the point of attack, you're going to pick up some yardage.
Florida State really has had a great effort from its offensive line, coming off the ball at that big Sooner front. Bobby Bowden said last year when Oklahoma came out on the field, his guys stopped warming up and just looked kind of wide-eyed at how big so the field kind of tilted when they came out.
You know, I think he plays that up a little. These guys wouldn't be number 2, recognized as number 2 in the country, number 1 by the computers. They played the toughest schedule in the country. And I'm not sure that they don't have as good a football team as any team in the country, and it's primarily because of that man. He's changed the whole city of Tallahassee around, and they're a good football team.
Got the whole town wearing garnet and gold in Tallahassee. Now the Seminoles go back to the run with 1:13 left to play. Ricky Williams gets the call, and again Flanagan, the outside, so he's listed as a defensive end, but they play almost a linebacker. The outside ends on the Oklahoma defense made the tackle. And the game clock is stopped with 1:13 left to play in the first half. Florida State's driving, but yet there's no score on the board. We'll be back at the 1981 Orange Bowl after this. With John Brody, this is Don Criqui back at the 1981 Orange Bowl. Miami, Florida. Florida State, number 2 in the nation. Driving right now, but time is a big element. 1:13 left to go in the first half. Second down and 4 coming up from the 13-yard line. Oklahoma sets down its big defensive front. Stockstill, hands up, right back to the run. Michael Whiting lost the ball, but a Seminole teammate got it farther downfield. Looked like Ricky Williams came up with the ball.
It was, Don. It was Ricky Williams who came up with the ball, but he made a very fine play in trailing the ball carrier. You never know when a ball's going to come loose, but watch him. Now he's coming around the corner. All he has to do is lag a little. He keeps alert, sees the ball loose, falls on it, keeps the drive alive. They've got a little over 55 seconds to play in the half. They've still got 2 timeouts. They've got plenty of time to get it in the end zone. This is the best drive that either team has put on all night.
Not much needed.
Third down.
55 seconds left in the first half and just inches needed. Florida State unable to run successfully against Oklahoma last year, doing it tonight.
We're going to start it on the ready.
Wide receiver set to either side. 55 seconds and the clock starts up. And now we're going to have a timeout signal for and allotted to Florida State. It has been a well-executed drive by Florida State as they're down real close now. They've got the good field goal kicker. Let's pick up some of the action on the field.
1 timeout left. He changed the play, Nick? Yes. All right, we got a little skull session here between the head coach and the quarterback, considering the clock. This is the biggest play in the first half so far.
I don't think Coach Bob's letting in on that one.
Give me 2 plays, I'll just get on the line.
52 seconds left to go. First half.
If we don't make it, call timeout. Yeah.
There we go.
It's left 48. It's tough to get it all the way. Yeah. Knock it on in there.
There you go, Bob. You got it. Left 48. 52 seconds to play.
What he was talking about, Don, is if he doesn't make it, call timeout, because then they'll re-huddle, figure out what they want to do. But if he does make it, they'll line up at the line of scrimmage. They've got a first down play, and they won't use very much time.
It's 3rd down and inches. Twice previously, Stockstill's called his own number. Got it once, didn't the other time. Now he goes to Ricky Williams. He's in the end zone with a touchdown for the Seminoles. Florida State, with a brilliant drive, takes it the distance, and the second-ranked Seminoles go on the board first. Boy, they look sharp. Let's go back down to Bob Trumpy.
Bobby, how big is that touchdown for your team right now?
Pretty big. We ain't been ahead of them too often.
And I'll tell you what, your defense is holding them too. That's got to help you a lot.
They've played excellent so far.
When you score first against a team like Oklahoma, how much does it do for the attitude of the players on the sideline?
It'll help us at the halftime. It'll help us a lot.
All right, Florida State breaks out on top, and the extra point is good.
So something happened all of a sudden. The Florida State offensive ball busted open the Oklahoma defense. And Ricky Williams, a 170-pound sophomore who's having a big night, rocketed into the end zone with the first score of the evening. 49 seconds left to play in the first half. And Florida State has taken a 7-0 lead over Oklahoma. A year ago, the Seminoles were on the board first. That was in the first quarter, but then Oklahoma came back with 17 second quarter points, 7 more in the second half, won the game 24-7. The Orange Bowl has not been a happy place for the Seminoles, losing here last year and thus losing their only game this regular season to Miami earlier here at the Orange Bowl. But tonight, they're out in front as they just went 70 yards in 11 plays. Using 4 minutes on the clock. 49 seconds left to play now in the first half. Today halftime, the Opryland show coming up at the 1981 Orange Bowl. But first, Bill Capice is going to kick off. This is the guy who worked under Gary Yepremian as a Miami Dolphin ball boy. He could outkick on distance Yepremian in high school, but he said Yepremian could hit it a dime in the air. I never was able to get as accurate. Now he tries a little looper. He's going to try to get an outside kick going. And lots of people going for the ball, but an up back for Oklahoma alertly comes up with it.
Don, that's one of the best onside kicks I have ever seen. When you can put the ball high in an area where nobody can get it before it hits the ground, if that ball had bounced just a little differently, the Seminoles could have recovered.
Looked like you with that wedge.
No, mine go all kind of ways, but this baby went right where he aimed it, and he had his whole team down under it, and Oklahoma made an excellent job of recovering the football.
Bobby Bowden, as you recall, if you were with us last year, was Mike during the game. He's given us permission to go down and listen in when he counsels his players on the sidelines. Some of the Florida State fans thinking we're getting away with something. Here's another fumble by Oklahoma. It's recovered. Do they have it? It's going to be Oklahoma's ball for a substantial gain. The fumble was ahead, went out of bounds. Well, Ledbetter lost it. That time, the Florida State Seminoles didn't get it back. Oklahoma got a gain, but they've put it on the ground 3 times now. They've lost 2. 40 seconds left to go in the first half. 7-0 Florida State. Seminoles going 70 yards in 11 plays, a 4-minute drive.
It's been a long time since Oklahoma has been shut out in 1 half a play. I think you got to go back to the second game of the year when they played Stanford.
Right, Stanford jumped them early and beat them, as did Texas. Now J.C. Watts trying to throw is knocked down by James Gilbert, who's come in at middle guard playing some great ball for Florida State. A couple of years ago, the basketball coach at Oklahoma left, went to SMU. He said, couldn't fight that football program. He said, football's #1 at Oklahoma, and it ought to be. They outscore our basketball team.
Hey, Gary Futch has played a pretty good ball game at defensive tackle down there. He and his brother, Gary, the two of them just, they get the job done. When you find 2 brothers that are first-string offense and defense, you've got 2 kids that can play football.
From thoroughbred country, Ocala, Florida. 23 seconds left to go in the first half. Sooners need a big play. 23 seconds is all that remains in the second quarter. Florida State's on the board after a sustained drive, leads the game 7-0.
I think if I was sitting in their position right now, Don, I'd let the clock run out because they're not accustomed to throwing the ball all over the field. Even if they get a first down, it'll be very tough to get any points on the board. They've got quite a ways to go, and a lot of things can happen. Florida State's all pumped up. A mistake can put them in field position to kick a field goal, and 7 points is nothing for Oklahoma.
They get it back. Right now, J.C. Watts is looking to get it back on one play. He's going to run with the ball. Carrying him to in, and J.C. bails out with 15 seconds left to go. He had Jim Rockford running the fly pattern. He's well attended to, though. A couple of Seminoles were right with him. J.C. Watts, 5'11", 190. A senior.
15 seconds. You still got the clock, James.
Thank you. We got 3rd down. It's out of bounds.
18 touchdowns this season. Led the Big 8 in scoring. Was second in the country with 108 points.
So many people have said, you know, I don't know if he can play quarterback as a professional. His viewpoint is that he'd probably be used on special teams. I'll tell you, he can play quarterback. The structure is not set up for him to throw the ball very much, but he's got an excellent throw-in motion. If the structure was set up for him to throw, he'd be an all-purpose quarterback. And I think he could play.
I know you liked all his throwing motions before the game. The long ones, soft touch. 3 minutes. 15 seconds left. 3rd down coming up.
Timeout. No, timeout.
3rd and 12.
No, whistle blew.
Who called timeout? That's their 3rd one, huh?
Seminoles called for and are allotted their final timeout of the first half. 3rd down and 12 coming up. Hoping to get it back, maybe to try one more play. As Oklahoma has the ball at the Sooners' 49-yard line. Oklahoma with its 4th consecutive Orange Bowl appearance. Its 5th in the last 6 years. Sooners have been here over the years 12 times. 3. Won 8 and lost just 3. Storied part of the great Orange Bowl tradition. They've been here more than any other team.
I think that if they have a pattern that they can throw over the middle of the field, both the cornerbacks are playing deep, they're playing wide. Get it to one of their, you know, okay, if you throw it to Forrest Valora, he may make a big play. They've got 15 seconds. If he gets put down about the 30-yard line, that'll be a 20-yard pickup. They'd still have an opportunity to call timeout, kick a field goal, go in only 4 points down. I'm sure in the discussion that's in their thinking. Usually you'd think, well, we have to throw the ball out of bounds. We've only got 15 seconds left, but with 3 timeouts, they're only going to have time for one good long play and a chance at a field goal. That would be about as positive as they can go at this point.
Well, we'll see now as J.C. Watts comes back after a sideline consultation. So Bobby Bowden's record.
Besides, I had a full knee operation, so I'm real sensitive.
6 of those 13 losses came his first year there. They had a 5-6 year after an 0-11 season. They've been a big winner ever since in Florida State under Bowden. 3rd down and 12. Sooners go right to the run. Weldon Ledbetter takes the ball back inside the 50 down to the 47. They got another Ledbetter in Oklahoma, and he must be pretty good. He's a freshman from Muskogee named Jerome Ledbetter. They gave him Billy Sims number 20. We haven't seen him yet. You will on the second half kickoff, though. Oklahoma leads the country in kickoff returns. Now we have a timeout signal.
They've got
with
one
8
left,
seconds
White. You
left
don't
to
have
play.
red. You don't have any.
Don't hit that passer now. Don't give him an untimed down.
Let's give him a little
In fact, don't foul at all. That'll extend the half, and he fouled with the defense.
Officials are mic'd for this game. That timeout was called by Oklahoma with 8 seconds left to go in the first half, and Florida State in the lead 7-0.
There's been quite a bit of discussion also, Don, between Harold Johnson, the umpire, who's standing right behind the defense, and the defensive linebackers. He's laughing a little at the linebackers, who just mentioned he moves around pretty good for a fellow 45. He said, well, yeah, with 6 knee operations, I feel 60, so don't hurry me along.
Get up, ready.
Officials can get hurt, and that umpire is one of them that can. Standing right in the middle of the defense. Here is J.C. Watts now on 4th down, throwing a strike. He's got Jim Rockford. It's a first down. He's out of bounds with 2 seconds left.
Here you go.
And here's a penalty marker coming in after the play.
Whistle that blown dead. Get my flag. You got a dead ball, double dead ball foul right here.
And we're going to play it right from there.
Right from here, right there. Put the ball right there. Knock that off. Just go on each side.
Play football.
That's the way to control a football game. If the referee doesn't do it, it won't get done.
He's doing it. So he had 2 fouls, 1 on either side, and the play that was after the ball was down. So the ball will be spotted just inside the 37-yard line of Florida State. And Keeling, who missed 34 yards out in his first field goal try, will set up now at the 43-yard line. This will be a long one.
It's just a little 53-yarder. The one advantage they do have in college is that they get to place the ball on a tee. Now you'll see it down there, so the grass really doesn't have a big effect. Trajectory gets a little swifter. If you really catch it flush, you can carry it.
Sets down, everything good. Keeling's into the ball nicely. Bang! 53 yards, and Michael Keeling puts Oklahoma on the board. Everything was set.
He caught it flush.
Perfect set down. Steve Rhodes holding, Mark Lucky snapping, and Keeling gets points for the Sooners as the first half runs out. Let's go back down to the sidelines. Bob?
All right, Bobby, your impressions of the first half. That 3 points had to hurt you.
3 points hurts. Yeah, you're darn right. Yeah, very sluggish first half. Both of us look sluggish as heck. 2 offenses going up and down the field, not getting in the end zone. Both defenses playing superb. We finally got one, and then we shouldn't have let them score there. We should have kept them off that board.
Didn't this football team from Oklahoma teach you a very valuable lesson? That is, you got to run the football, which you've done very well in the first half.
Yeah, we've run much better. They're playing a nickel defense again, which I didn't think they would after watching us play this year. But I'm sure they had a reason. It's been effective. But we've been able to run on it some. I hope we can keep it up.
All right, what's the reasoning for platooning Platt and Williams?
Platt has been hurt some. He's not in as good a condition, and Williams has been running well. Every time Williams has played for us this year, he's come in and done well, and he deserves it for one thing.
I would imagine that Oklahoma will go in at halftime, make some adjustments against your defense to try to accommodate what you're stopping them with. Are you going to have to make some changes in your defense?
We will, yeah, if they change, we change. If they don't change, we stay like we are because they hadn't scored except for that kick. But I'm sure they'll adjust, and also we'll make some adjustments. And let's hope it. I just hope we can keep them off that board now. We keep it up, we win.
Okay, thanks, Bobby.
Back at the 1981 Orange Bowl, this is Don Quickie with John Brody. Halftime, and the Florida State Seminoles holding to a 7-3 lead over Oklahoma. That was a record-setting field goal by Michael Keeling, an Orange Bowl record of 53 yards. It's been an intense game, John.
I think it is, and there are a lot of questions that have cropped up within the course of the first half. Number one, David Overstreet, who's gained an awful lot of yardage throughout the season, has only carried the ball once for 33 yards. All right, now you've got Stanley Wilson's carried it 5 times for 25. He's out of the ball game. His replacement's carried it 3 for 30. The fullback position is carrying most of the load. If Florida State can continue to force Oklahoma to carry most of the load with their fullback, they've negated Buster Rhymes, they've negated David Overstreet, and their defense is doing their job.
Well, the coaches feel that the lead back has not been making the block for Oklahoma. They need that block. They said we got one good block, and we got the 31-yard gainer by Overstreet out of it. But for the most time, those Florida State linebackers have been doing a big job containing the wishbone, which cracked through Florida State for 411 yards last season, this Orange Bowl. Now let's go down to the sideline and Bob Trumpy. Bob?
Thank you, gentlemen. With us, the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, Don Shula. What do you think of the first half?
Very exciting. I thought it was a tough, hard-fought ball game. I know how bad Bobby wants to win this football game and how hard he's worked. Last year they tried to throw the ball. This year they're running with the football. And, of course, Oklahoma's always dangerous.
A question for you on professional football, Don. I think everybody in the world was shocked that Bum Phillips was fired. Your reaction?
Well, I was shocked, too. Bum, I think, has done a great job in the National Football League. And he's got the respect of all of the coaches and the players in a league. And you hate to see this happen. I'm sure that the owner is entitled to do what he wants to do, but as a guy that's in the coaching profession, I respected Bum and the job that he's done in the National Football League.
Well, have fun the second half, Don. Nice talking to you.
Fine.
Don Shula of the Miami Dolphins.
One of the great ones, well turned out. That's the first half breakdown, John.
And here's the biggest surprise, the 141 yards offensively that FSU's gained on the ground. A lot of that has been done by Williams. The kid has come in for Sam Platt. The two of them have alternated. He's picked up 78 yards in the first half on 11 carries. That's part of the reason Sam Platt didn't get to play as much as they thought he would coming into the ball game. You get a kid that's hot, you stay with him.
Well, we'll see if they do now. I think Oklahoma might be throwing more in the second half. Their coaches were not happy with the wishbone. Here is the kickoff, and Capiz drills one. And here comes Jerome Ledbetter. He's run 2 back for touchdowns this year. Ledbetter turns to the outside. And finally, Gary Henry comes up and finds him, knocks him down. They're averaging over 33 yards a kickoff return this season are the Sooners, #1 in the nation. There is Jerome Ledbetter, truly an Okie from Muskogee. Gave him Billy Sims' number, so he must be a player.
That's nothing. That's no flag. It's no flag. It's no flag. Just debris from the half. First down.
And we're looking at some paper, thought it was a flag. Big Louis Oubre, number 66. He's the super quick All-American tackle of Oklahoma. 280 from New Orleans. Terry Crouch, Bill Bechtold, Don Key, and Ed Culver, the blockers. Forrest Valora, the tight end. Handoff goes up the middle, and Weldon Ledbetter, the fullback in the wishbone, takes it straight ahead behind Crouch and Bechtold. Borowski and Jarvis Coursey were on the knockdown for Florida State. J.C. Watts, the senior quarterback for Oklahoma, led an offense that had 411 yards rushing last season. In the first half tonight, Florida State's held the Sooners down to 114. They come in averaging 360 a game running it. Watts calling his own number, comes out close to the 30-yard line. Mark Masick, 67 on the stop for Florida State.
And Mark Masick is a name you haven't heard too often in the first half. However, he and Futch are playing super games, allowing the linebackers and the defensive ends to make the tackles. When you're playing good up front and you're playing good against a man like Louis Oubre or Terry Crouch, you are playing football.
Lots of big people. Masick comes in at 260. That's small as the Oklahoma linemen go. Got a 290 that million there so often. Little Byford. Here is again straight up the middle, and the freshman from Miami, Buster Rhymes, takes it ahead. He gets the first down carry. Buster Rhymes brings the ball out across the 35 to the 38-yard line. Bonasort, the free safety on the stop.
And they made it right over Ron Simmons. Remember, he went out in the first half with an ankle injury. He is trying to play. It's very hard to hold your own when you're playing against a real good offensive center like Bill Bechtel, and he couldn't do it with a bad ankle, and I doubt if you'll see him in a lot in the second half.
Gilbert, his backups played very well. James Gilbert's come in for Simmons. Free football in the Sooner backfield. J.C. Watts fell on it, but lost yardage in a 1st and 10 play from the 38 of Oklahoma. The ball is now back to the 34-yard line, so it's going to be 2nd down and 15.
Okay, off on the point of at the point of attack. Everybody got off on the ball. Problem was they forgot to take it with them. Just one or two of these kind of miscues destroy your whole drive, because Oklahoma is not a passing team. They run the ball. They expect to keep good ball control. Make 4 or 5 a crack. Now it's 2nd and 14.
There's the pitch back. Running wide with the ball, trying to get free and not get very far is Buster Rhymes, as this Florida State defense playing superb football. Rhymes is knocked down. James Harris, right side corner, was up to make the tackle, 33.
And when you see the cornerback up to make the tackle, it means they've changed a little something defensively. He's normally out wide with the wide receiver. That time he was the force man. Got to the ball player before the blocker could. They've been one step ahead defensively of Oklahoma's offense all night. This was the feature, Oklahoma's offense against FSU's defense. So far, it's been a great FSU defense.
And an interesting contrast, John, because Bobby Bowden said last year we were a step behind them. We knew what they were going to do, but we couldn't stay with them. Here's a throw. And coming out to get the ball is Forrest Valora, the tight end, and he's all the way down inside the 40-yard line of Florida State. Forrest stepped out. He was heading for the end zone. 12:03 to play in the third quarter. A 29-yard gain on the play and another Sooner first down. So a pitch early.
And it was the same little delay play where the tight end blocks down, faking a running play. Looks like a same old wishbone pitch option. Valora comes sneaking underneath the linebackers. That time he catches Reggie Herring. Just a step back of him, picks the ball off, goes down the sideline for a big game. Oklahoma's on the move at the 38.
Steve Rhodes, who had the hamstring pull, is now in as a wide receiver, flank to the right. Oklahoma goes to the run. Buster Rhymes is stung hard as he gets down to the 35-yard line. Reggie Herring popped him. Bechtold and Key led the blocking, and a first down carry. The gain was only about 2 yards. Bring up second down and 8 for Oklahoma at the 35-yard line of Florida State. A 29-yard gainer to Forrest Valora, the tight end. Big play in this drive that has the Sooners down to the 35-yard line.
Bobby Bowden mentioned something interesting at the halftime interview with Bob Trumpy when he said Oklahoma has played a lot of nickel backs, and when they get on defense, we'll describe some of the problems. Oops.
J.C. Watts has a trailer and Buster Rhymes. J.C. takes it himself. Let's go down and listen to the refs as they unsort the pile.
Here you go, Offsides, defense. You got defense offside. Let's have the white captain here. All right, captain, if you take the play, they're going to have a third down and about 2. If you take the penalty, they'll have a second down and about 3. Third and take the penalty, all right?
Lose a yard, gain it down.
Offside.
Right here?
On your right side over here.
So the ball's now down to the 30.
We have an offside on the defense. Repeat the down. Second down.
Stockstill, who threw well and ran well for Florida State in the first half, waiting to go in with the offense. Right now the Sooners have the ball and they have second down and about 3 at the 30-yard line of Florida State. Third quarter. Florida State in the lead, 7-3. Give is up the middle. Fullback at the ball. Weldon Ledbetter was stopped by Reggie Herring of Florida State. Got the ball down inside the 30, but short of the first down. It's going to bring up third down and about a yard.
Not very often does a team stop Oklahoma when they get off on the ball with good offensive surge, as they did that time. They looked as if they had moved the ball at the point of attack pretty well. Their linebackers jumped in behind the play and made the stop for a 1.5 yard gain. They're all over the field right now.
On third and less than a yard, they didn't get there. Florida State comes crashing through. James Gilbert led the charge on J.C. Watts. Down to the 30.
No later now.
Fourth down.
No later than that, little fella. No later. No later than that now.
Who's the little fella?
Not too many of them in this game. Fourth down. You remember in the last play of the first half, Michael Keeling, the Oklahoma place kicker, hit an Orange Bowl record 53-yard field goal to put the Sooners on the board. They now trail 7-3. Fourth down and a yard for Oklahoma at the 29-yard line, and they want some time to think this one over with 9:50 left to play in the third quarter. The Sooners call a timeout. J.C. Watts comes over to talk with Coach Switzer. We'll be back at the 1981 Orange Bowl after this. With John Brody and Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui back at the Orange Bowl. Here's the only touchdown of this game, John. The Florida State run by Ricky Williams.
And Ricky Williams doing an awful lot of playing time for one of the few times this season, because the man he's playing behind, Sam Platt, ran very well. They put Williams in. He's having a super night. Found the hole easily and slipped it in for a touchdown. Here we go.
Fourth in the yard. Look at this. J.C. Watts breaks it. One man to beat. The All-American corner, Bobby Butler, catches him and throws him down. But the Sooners are down to the 5-yard line of Florida State, a 23-yard gain.
And And I'll tell you what they did. They put Louis Obrey out at tight end. When they did, they didn't put him out there because they didn't want to run the ball over him. He caved in the whole right side of the line, gave Watts a hole to run in. You don't see Buster Rhymes in any position to get the football. He couldn't get up in front of him to help. Trailing all the way, big gain. Oklahoma's first chance inside the 10-yard line, and they are hard to stop down here.
It's a good shot, boy. You see the world upside down as a kick snapper. Oklahoma, Florida State kick snapper. Trent Barnes. First down and goal for Oklahoma. Sooners trail in the game. Here's J.C. Watts. Again, he calls his own number, and Watts is down to the 3-yard line. Sooners cracking the whip now as 9:34 shows in the third quarter clock. Oklahoma ranked 4th in the nation. Florida State ranked 2nd in the nation. The Seminoles holding to a 4-point lead, but the Sooners challenging now. Florida State's been a great second-half team. They've outscored the opposition in the fourth quarter 96-0.
I'll tell you what they've done in the last 2 plays that they weren't consistently doing. They won at the line of scrimmage. You win at the line of scrimmage, and Watts will put some yards on you.
He will do that. He'll call his own number regularly. Now he pitches back, running wide with the ball and looking for the end zone, and going in is David Overstreet. He carried once in the first half, gained 31 yards on his second carry. It's a touchdown for Oklahoma. And with 8:59 to play in the third quarter, the Sooners take the lead, 9-7. One of the co-captains from Big Sandy, Texas.
You know, it's hard to feature a man like David Overstreet because the defense can take him away from you. And that's what they did in the first half. Whenever you get out in a position to pitch the ball, things look pretty good. He's going to get it. When he gets it, he can pick some yardage up for you. They broke the defense twice in that drive. As a result, 6 points. One more is 7. It's 10-7 Oklahoma.
That is the number. Oklahoma's Michael Keeling hits the point after in 10 plays. The Sooners go 77 yards, culminating a pitch back to senior David Overstreet. And he turns on his 4.4 speed. He's as fast as anybody Oklahoma has and ends up right where it counts, end zone. So the Sooners come out strong in the second half, driving 77 yards. They take the lead. We'll be back at the Orange Bowl in a moment.
We rejoin the game late in the third quarter with Oklahoma still leading 10-7 over Florida State. The Sooners have the ball on their own 27-yard line, first down and 10.
Oklahoma now has the football with it, but without their starting fullback, Stanley Wilson. What's the injury report, Stan?
Well, I got a bad bruise to my back, you know, and it's near my kidney, and it's hard for me to lift my leg up, so I couldn't even run.
They want to take no chance with it?
Well, I can't hardly even walk, so I know I can't play.
Okay, that's one cog out of the Oklahoma offense.
Well, they got some more left, Bob, and here is one of them, Buster Rhymes. But does he have a problem? But look at the blockers now on the other side. Buster Rhymes weaving his way east and west and ends up losing about 10 yards. Bobby Butler, the quickest player on the Florida State defense, finally caught him and threw him down. They like them both.
Yeah, Don, it's one thing for a guy to be a great threat, but when he gets the ball and there's good pursuit, and this play was made by Jim Harris, the cornerback. He's made 2 or 3 real fine plays as a force man. When you force a running back to go deep and wide around an end he wasn't intending to go, you're going to get a lot of pursuit on the play, and it's very, very seldom going to be effective. Now it is 2nd and 20.
2nd and 20. J.C. Watts has the ball, and Florida State was looking for it all the way. It's 3rd and even more. 3rd and about 24 is Jarvis Coursey, a junior from Gray, Georgia, number 64. Played a superb game for Florida State on defense. He made that knockdown of J.C. Watts.
All right, you talk about a team that's outscored its allowed their opponents 21 points in the second half while scoring 193. That's Florida State. On the other side of the coin, you've got Oklahoma, who's 229-93, but only 21 points in the second half has been scored against FSU. And if they don't have a good series now, which it looks like they're having, they could get run out of the tub.
That's in 11 previous games. Here's a free ball, and Florida State gets the football. The Sooners turn it over for a 3rd time on the fumble. Reggie Herring was in there and gobbled it up.
Maybe that's why they've given up 21 points in the second half.
A big turnover there. In 11 games, 21 points in the second half. But right now, the Florida State offense is out. Beneficiaries of yet another Oklahoma turnover. 2:54 left to play in the third quarter. That's got Barry Switzer pacing with reason. Stockstill goes to the run. Ricky Williams, who scored the only touchdown of the game for Florida State, comes inside the 15-yard line. And a 1st and 10 carry, he got about 3. A.C. Watts on the phone. What happened?
Well, they filed that nickelback defense. They're putting as many people as they can up front where they need them. And they have still held Florida State their passing game. And I don't think you'll see any more defensive backs than necessary in the future.
Great blocking from an all-senior interior line for Florida State. Michael Whiting runs now, fighting his way inside the 15-yard line on a 2nd down and 8 carry. He got down to about the 13-yard line. Steve Whaley from Cleveland, Oklahoma, number 57, made the stop. Tom Brannon and Ken Lanier, the tackles for Florida State. Lee Adams and Greg Futch are the guards, and John Madden the center. All seniors and all cohesive blocking unit.
Don, we've been talking a lot about the Florida State inside linebackers, but I'll tell you what, the Oklahoma inside linebackers so far in the second half have been outstanding. Mike Riley, number 50, and Mike Coach, 48.
They have. They're being challenged now. 3rd down and 5. Throw into the end zone. Man is out there. The play is broken up, but penalty markers come in from off the play. Sam Childers, the tight end, ran a pattern down to the goal line, broke wide. Ken Sitt came up from the strong safety position, and the flag came out.
In the end zone, right here. Hey. Defensive pass interference. White team for 1st down.
Ken Sitt played the whole play very well. Now, I couldn't see from my angle where he interfered, but that doesn't mean he didn't. I do know that Sam Childers, because of his aggressive play, going after the ball the whole way, created the foul. Call it the way you see it. I didn't see it.
Stockstill dives down to the goal line. Did he get it in?
2nd down.
He did not.
2nd down.
The 2nd and goal from inches out. 1:25 left to play in the third quarter. Clock running. Oklahoma in the lead, 10-7. But now Florida State ready to come back into the lead.
Look, and when you take, as we look at this pass interference, Barry Switzer's over there getting his group pumped up. Look at Sam Childers, though. If he hadn't come out of his pattern, gotten after the ball, he could never have created the foul. I again didn't see it. It was called 2nd down.
Penalty marker is down at the line of scrimmage as Florida State takes it in. Michael Whiting going over the top for the touchdown.
Motion, offensive right tackle.
There you hear it.
We got illegal motion.
Ooh, says Coach Bowden. Starts to hurt. Illegal motion sets the ball back to the 6-yard line.
We got illegal motion on the offense. Repeat the down. 2nd down. That's right.
Okay.
Hadn't been easy on the ground in the second half.
It has not been easy. Now Stockstill calls his own number, puts his head down and dives down close, but he did not get in on 2nd and goal from the 6. It'll be 3rd goal from about 2 yards out. Darryl Sanji caught him. That's the 4th time that Stockstill has called his own number in a naked reverse.
He's what you call an all-purpose quarterback. He's an excellent athlete, has a wonderful timing with the ball. He knows what to do. He'll give it all he's got. Hasn't got great speed, but I tell you what, he picks up the last inch of what he's got.
I asked him, John, if he was highly recruited. He said by one school, Florida State. Coach Bowden thought I could play. Stockstill takes a look, throws, it comes in low, and it'll be 4th down. So now Florida State will send out Bill Capice in all probability. Or will they? 4th and goal from inside the 2-yard line. And here comes the field goal team.
I would also kick the field goal. Darryl Sanji made an excellent defensive play. Stockstill did not miss an open man. There was no one to throw it to. He threw it wisely in the ground.
So Capice from Miami, an All-American, is 0 for 2 tonight in his hometown at field goal attempts. Here's his 3rd. He's got plenty into it. It's up and good. So the game with 19 seconds left to play in the third quarter is tied at 10.
You are watching the 1981 Orange Bowl, Oklahoma against Florida State, right here on ESPN Classic.
It's early in the fourth quarter, and the score is still tied at 10. Florida State has the ball on their own 29-yard line, looking at 3rd down and 17. Can the Sooner defense hold, or will the Seminoles prevail? We'll see as we continue the 1981 Orange Bowl here on ESPN Classic.
Florida State hadn't given up a thing in the fourth quarter this season. You can see that. 96-0, they've outscored the opposition. You think they might be throwing here, John?
If they do, look out for Ken Sit.
Swing pass goes out to Whiting. And Whiting gets ahead inside, outside the 25-yard line, about the 27. Johnny Lewis and Richard Turner were there to knock him down. Game clock winds on down, 13:34 to play in the fourth quarter. And the game is tied at 10.
Don, you better
Don't
credit.
hit the kicker now. He gives them an automatic first down. Don't block below the waist.
Giving them all the information. Defensive secondary play has been outstanding for Oklahoma, and Ken Sitton specifically. This kid from Marshall, Texas. I guess they're all good in Marshall, Texas. Tittle's the last one I knew.
Here's Ron Stark punting. Jay Jimerson's letting it hop. Waved a fair catch and didn't go for the ball, and it's down at about the 36-yard line. A 38-yard punt by Ron Stark of Florida State. And the Sooners go back on offense, 1st and 10. A game tied 10-all, 13:05 left to play. A year ago, Oklahoma took over the game in the second quarter. Coming back from a 7-0 deficit, 17 second quarter points. They went on to win the game 24-7 over Florida State. This year it's been locked up. Now 10-10 with 13:05 to play. And J.C. Watts, as he said he would, he did return. He's back in at quarterback for the Sooners.
All right.
Overstreet really got stuck at the line of scrimmage, spun off it, got ahead for maybe a yard.
I'll get the ball.
Mark Masick made the stop. I mean, you have to handle a big tackle to make the stop at the point of attack when it's Louis Obrey, Terry Crouch. He did that and then got a piece of the ball carrier. No wonder nobody scored any points on him all year long in the fourth quarter.
But giving up a total of 85 in 11 games. Second down and 8, as you see, as J.C. Watts gives off to the fullback. Weldon Ledbetter takes it across the 40 to the 42-yard line. And Alfonso Carricker, the freshman from Columbus, making his presence felt.
The yardage is coming tough right now, Don, because even though J.C. Watts is back in the ballgame, I do not believe he's as clear as he was before he got hit. When that's so, you're not going to see him running that option as effectively if he runs it at all. Don't think the defense doesn't know that and plays accordingly.
Quarterback.
We saw the end result of his substitution coming in, fumbling the snap from center right away. Oklahoma turning it over for a 4th time. Their defense has played extremely well. They have Florida State held at 10 points.
Look out.
Watts has a problem, and down he goes back at the 32-yard line. Masick, 67, a senior from Wyandotte, Michigan, and Jarvis Corsi, the junior end from Gray, Georgia, lead the charge for the Seminoles.
Hey, you just run out of superlatives describing some of these linebackers and defensive ends. Jarvis Corsi has made about 6 solo tackles tonight. He's been in on many plays behind the line of scrimmage. This is his first year as a starter, and he is held in there well.
Jarvis was asked, they asked some of the players where they'd like to spend New Year's Day, their ideal place. He said on the same line of scrimmage as J.C. Watson. Here's a bad snap, and into the end zone. This will go for a Florida State touchdown. Jerry Butler, Bobby Butler, the All-American cornerback, gets on the ball in the end zone. It's touchdown Florida State. So this great defense that has not given up a point all season in the fourth quarter does the ultimate, reaches the pinnacle. Up there with the Snow Leopards, it scores a touchdown and puts Florida State ahead.
Tell you, Jack Stanton, the defensive coordinator for Florida State, said, if our offense can run the ball a little bit, we can stay close with Oklahoma. We're going to make something happen good defensively. Couldn't happen any better than it just did. But I tell you, just a little indecision on the point of the punter could have saved 5 points if he had done the right decision at that time. If he kicked it out of the end zone, it's a 2-point play, and they're back in ball game within a field goal to win it. This way, it's a touchdown.
Capice hits the extra point. So now things are mitigating against Oklahoma. The Sooners, their quarterback injured but back in the lineup. And their punter losing a high snap. And Oklahoma losing the tie in the game as Florida State has taken a 17-10 lead. Bobby Butler sees a loose football, a defensive player's dream, free in the end zone. Touchdown, Florida State. We'll be back in the 1981 Orange Bowl after this. This one broke the tie a moment ago. A high snap, but not that high, John.
It's one of those things a punter has to prepare himself to think about. He didn't know whether to pick it up or kick it. By the time he'd made the decision, the Seminoles were all over him. He couldn't make the decision to kick it backwards. He knew he was dead. He could have kicked it out of the end zone if he'd made a little decision earlier. Didn't make it. As a result, 7 points for the Seminoles. They are tough to handle now.
Aren't they? And now they'll kick it off. Capice ready to drill the ball downfield. That freshman tandem of Ledbetter and Rhymes back. This is Jerome Ledbetter from the 1. 2 touchdown returns on kickoffs, but he gets very little from the Florida State coverage, as he is thrown down hard to the grass turf here at the Orange Bowl with 11:02 left to play in the game. Ernie Sims was down to make the play for Florida State. Bobby Bowden went to Tallahassee. People didn't want to talk too much about football after an 0-11 season. Now they got the whole town wearing garnet and gold. He's the biggest thing in North Florida.
And he's concerned. If you remember Nebraska, Oklahoma, the last game, see who gets down here. Oklahoma scores in the last part of the ball game easily.
J.C. Watts has got plenty left on a 1st and 10 play. J.C. Watts gets across the 25 and out to the 29-yard line. Reggie Herring was on the tackle, along with Mark Masick. Sooners with a long way to go, though, to tie this game. They'll have 2nd down and a yard coming up from their 19-yard line. Florida State in the lead, 17-10.
I don't think you'll see him running any option on this play. He got up limping a little bit.
He goes to Buster Rhymes. Rhymes a 7.7 yard per carry average. Might have took a late hit.
What do you got? Your spot's right up here. Face mask.
Gene, your spot's right up here. That's where you want.
Other way.
The big mark-off now for a face mask penalty, major penalty against Florida State. Ball is sent out to the 47.
You got a face mask and the defense. First down.
Let's see. We saw Buster Rhymes get spun around. We couldn't see whether he was held by the mask or not. You can see now, Jarvis Carsey got a little piece of the mask. That was it.
Get that mask. The head must follow. Spun him right around, but it's a 1st down. Here's J.C. Watts pitching back. Buster Rhymes is knocked out of bounds at the 50. On a 1st and 10 option play, the Sooners take the ball ahead for 3 yards. It's amazing to watch J.C. Watts run into a defense, people surrounding him, and then just flick the ball back to a trailing back. A gain of 3 yards.
And he's hurting right now. I tell you, to be running the way he's running, the conditions that exist, however, dictate he has got to carry the show if it's going to get on the road.
10:05 left to play in the 47th Orange Bowl game from Miami. 17-10. Florida State's in the lead. 49-yard. Reverse it is. Rhymes gets the ball and does well to get ahead for a yard or 2. Right now we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Don't hit that pass.
9:46 left to go in the game. That's how the 47th Orange Bowl stands. Florida State 17, Oklahoma 10. This is Don Crickey with John Brody and Bob Trumpy. Our producer tonight for NBC, Mike Wiseman. Our director, John Gonzalez. As the 47th Orange Bowl game, which looked to me on paper perhaps the best matchup of all the bowl games, is turning out to be that. Now the Sooners trying to tie the game and get in the end zone. Can't get it done. On a 3rd down and 6 play, Florida State shuts down the quarterback. Paul Porowski came up to hit J.C. Watts. And you're right, John. J.C. is playing hurt.
You bet he is, but those linebackers are not playing hurt. You take a look at 39, 53, and I'm going to add number 64, Jarvis Carsey. He's playing like a linebacker. He's been floating a lot all night long. The 3 of them have been in on virtually every play defensively.
Down, Keeling Fielding gets a good snap, gets the kick away. It wasn't easy. They were coming for the block, and Butler almost had it. Takes an Oklahoma roll, and it rolls down to the 16-yard line. You need that oxygen. All you can get. It's been that tough. 8:37 left to play. A 34-yard punt. Florida State gets the ball when we come back.
Okay, J.C. Watts is taking a beating tonight. He's once again on the sideline with ice on his knee from that tackle right there, and that's the biggest part of the Oklahoma offense, gentlemen.
J.C.'s been a great one for 4 years at Oklahoma. And J.C. Watts playing hurt, and Oklahoma trailing in the game. Florida State, number 2 in the nation. A great defense, and it's been every bit of that tonight.
And they better do something offensively right now, or they're going to have to give the ball up in good field position. And it's not going to be easy.
Pitch back, and Ricky Williams, who scored a touchdown earlier, takes the ball out across the 16-yard line on a 1st and 10 play. Mike Coast, senior linebacker from Bartlesville, Oklahoma, made the stop for the Sooners. A lot of Sooner natives on the roster. A lot of Texans on that Oklahoma team.
You got it, and the Texans are playing exceptionally well. Where the offensive line for the Seminoles controlled the game in the first half, it's been the defensive line of the Sooners in the second half.
2nd and 6. Handoff to Ricky Williams, weaving into the Oklahoma defense. Ricky Williams got ahead for a couple of yards to about the 22-yard line. Mike Weddington knocked him down. A lot of people wondered just what a Sooner is. Well, a Sooner, way back in 1889 when they had the Oklahoma Land Rush, was a guy who jumped the gun. Got in there early to stake out his claim.
It's a wagon, isn't it?
Well, a schooner's a wagon, but our man from Oklahoma here, Travis, tells me a Sooner is a guy who jumped the gun, snuck in and staked out his claim, John.
All right.
And a Boomer Sooner is a guy who took off right at the gun.
All right, I know it's an Oklahoma football team.
And now they have a problem with 7:23 to go. Here's a handoff to Ricky Williams of Florida State, 3rd down and 4. Williams puts his head down. Looks like he got there.
You are watching the 1981 Orange Bowl, Oklahoma against Florida State, right here on ESPN Classic.
Barry Switzer and his Sooners in the 8 seasons he's been head coach there have won over 90% of their games. For any coach in the business 5 years or more, he's the winningest college football coach from a percentage standpoint.
I think if there's been a surprise tonight, Don, it's been the offensive and defensive line play of FSU. I think Oklahoma figured if it held itself to 2 or 3 turnovers, they were going to move the ball effectively on the ground. They have not turned the ball over, any more than their average. They just haven't moved it as consistently.
1st and 10. Straight ahead, and look at this run by Florida State's Mike Whiting. Hit 2 yards into the Oklahoma defense. Spins off, goes 5 more. Really popped then, and he still gets ahead for even more. Darrell Sanji finally knocked him down as Whiting gains 19 yards.
All right, from the blip again. Generally, you can see as Michael Whiting finds a little hole, there is some hole at the point of attack. This time it comes from the offside. The offside is generally handled by Ken Lanier and Fudge. The 2 of them made a fine hole on the offside, allowing Michael Whiting to come over to the offside and pick up the 1st.
Handoff goes right back to Whiting on a 1st and 10 play. He takes the ball from the 43-yard line of Florida State and advances to the 46. Lots of cream and crimson in the stands. Lots of Oklahoma fans here. Garnet, gold, and cream and crimson are the colors of Miami this week. It's been some week. We'll throw a party down here. Handoff going straight ahead and over the 50-yard line on a 2nd and 8 play. Richard Turner on the stop of Ricky Williams. Williams is big, but boy, he is so quick.
I know what they mean when they say Tom Brannon, the left offensive tackle for the Seminoles, is a man that goes unnoticed throughout the whole ball game. We saw him once on the sideline saying, "Mom, we're number 1." We haven't seen an awful lot of him in the game, but he has been a major factor. That time he just blew the defensive lineman, Richard Turner, off the line of scrimmage.
He's done that more than once, too. He's really coming off the ball. The whole Florida State line is. They're running well against a tough defense. Look at Ricky Williams. Power football by Florida State. On a 3rd down and 1-yard carry, Ricky Williams puts his head down behind some great blocking on the right side. Brannon and Adams and Matt in the center, and gets a Florida State 1st down.
Hey, this is impressive. 3 first downs in the most crucial part of a ball game. They had the ball when there was 8.5 minutes left. Now there's only 5:20. They've got the people in the Orange Bowl standing on their seats. Standing on their seats? No, you can't do that.
Yes, you can. I'd want to be in Miami, too, if I was from Nedana, Alaska. Got a group up down here from there. It's got to be rough in Nedana New Year's Day. Ricky Williams takes the ball ahead. Not much there. Not much at all. In fact, the loss will be 4 yards. Keith Gary, the senior defensive tackle from Washington, number 92, made the play for Oklahoma. Florida State doesn't back away from anybody in the scheduling, that's for sure. Next year, on consecutive weeks, they play Ohio State at Columbus, Notre Dame at South Bend, Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh, and LSU at Baton Rouge.
Just another month at the plant, huh?
A reverse. Hardest Johnson gets the ball. There's a penalty. No, he kicks the ball, fakes the reverse. Ricky Williams kept it, and a penalty marker came down from off the play.
Ricky Williams on the fake reverse.
Mike Riley didn't go for the fake, made the play. And there's a hold against Florida State. 4:29 left to go.
Take it back. That's the spot. Charlie.
Yeah, that's right. He brought his flag up.
I can't see the marks here, but
Umpire with his headset.
We'll do a little guessing.
No, you missed one marker.
a marker, but I can't see it up here. Up here?
Yeah.
Hey, this is an exact science, don't you think?
Well, we got holding. The offense.
It doesn't make much difference when it's 2nd down and 29, but when it's 3rd down and 1, it does have effect.
Doesn't it? Here it is back now, the replay. Here's the fake by Ricky Williams.
Defensive back.
Exact science.
Nobody was biting.
2nd down and forever now. 2nd down and 29. Handoff goes to Ricky Williams. He gets the ball out to the 40-yard line. Keith Gary again on the stop. That signifies 4 Orange Bowls for that Sooner.
Is there somebody in it?
There is not. Man's taking some time off.
He did it. Your turn.
Look at this. Florida State, which couldn't run the ball at all last year and defensively couldn't stop the Oklahoma running game, has turned it completely around in 1981.
Credit the offensive line, Don. They have done a superb job against an outstanding defensive line.
And then Superior. Stock still has a problem. Keith Gary's running him down. That big guy can motor. 3:30 left to play. Oklahoma's going to get the ball back. A 10-yard loss in that play. And Jay Jimerson steps back deep for a punt return.
If they are effective with 3:21 left to go in the ball game, they held the ball with 8.5 minutes to play. Got 4 first downs offensively. They did their job, even though they might have to get the ball up in relatively good field position.
Now we're going to have a timeout called by Oklahoma with 3:12 left to play in the game. Renegade, the Warhorse. Bobby Bowden is a great speaker. He spoke at the Orange Bowl luncheon on Monday. Had the place on its ear. He's talking about last year. He said everybody in Tallahassee was calling him Sweet Old Bobby, Sweet Old Bobby. Everything was Sweet Old Bobby when they were 11-0. So then they came here and lost the Orange Bowl game to Oklahoma, went back, and he said they just went back to the initials.
And I tell you what, I think he did the best job of soft selling a number 2 ranked football team of anybody I have ever seen. He kept mentioning that if they could do that, if they could do this against a great Oklahoma team, and he actually had people believing it. Now, you can't very often come in here and hide when you're the 2nd ranked team in the country and play the toughest schedule. For some reason, most observers thought that at the line of scrimmage, the Seminoles would get pushed around. That just hasn't happened. Don't think Bowden bought it for a minute, all right? Oklahoma is an outstanding football team. You don't run the ball for 242 yards against the Sooners unless you've got some great offensive linemen, and their defense has shown what it's been doing all year.
I don't know what switch it is.
We certainly would like to thank the officials for their cooperation in the NCAA. It's added a great dimension to the game, which has been a really terrific football game. I think you'll agree with Florida State in the lead 17-10.
That guy's got a pretty good sized hat, but I don't think his head will fit if they go on and win this ball game.
There's been some more partying here in Miami. It's been a great week. Orange Bowl people treat you about as well as you can be treated. It's something this whole community gets behind. It's an awful lot of fun to be a part of. We had a great group down from NBC, Erwin Siegelstein, the president of NBC Television, Bob Mulholland, the president of NBC Television Network, Jeff Mason, all here for a week of good times with the Orange Bowl people and culminating in a great football game.
I'll tell you, Nick Crane, Ben Benjamin, Frank Callahan, these guys put on a host show for the whole week. And this baby, it just led up to one of the finest. This is one of the finest college football games that I have seen. And I am one who generally likes to see that ball thrown all over the football field. But the intensity, the involvement, the excellence on defense is easily appreciated. And not often do I admire it. But tonight, it's just been outstanding.
It has both defenses. You cannot say enough about them. Oklahoma's defense really has given up only 10 points. You recall the one touchdown, the go-ahead, was on a bad snap. Not really that bad, but it went into the end zone. And now a kick rolls way downfield. Oklahoma's going to get it back. But they'll have some 79 yards to go to get to the end zone of Florida State. A 48-yard punt by Ron Stark, the All-American punter from Florida State. 3:19 left to play, but it's a long way from over. Oklahoma looking for the big play. The Sooners will be going 1st and 10 when we come back to the Orange Bowl. Bobby Bowden, the Florida State coach, said when Oklahoma doesn't fumble, they don't lose to anybody. Well, tonight they fumbled 4 times. They've lost 4, and Florida State has capitalized on Oklahoma mistakes, John.
They have, but they've lost 4 balls a lot of times. 3:19 to play. If you watch Nebraska play Oklahoma, the score was within a touchdown. They came back and scored. If I had somebody to bet on it, it'd be these fellas. They just picked up 7 yards on 1st down.
They can ignite and go the distance on one play. They have the great speed in their backfield. I'm going to liken them to quarter horses coming out of the gate when that ball is snapped. The wishbone offense. Here's Porowski, who's played a fantastic game at linebacker.
He started fast and he's still flying. That's a quality you just can't admire enough.
J.C. Watts has a problem, and coming up to make the play was Arthur Scott, one of the defensive ends. Jarvis Corson, Mark Masing, Simmons and James Gilbert, Gary Futch, Alfonso Carricker, Arthur Scott. All of these defensive linemen playing superb football for Florida State, as have the linebackers, Borowski and Harry. Secondary, James Harris, Monk Bonasaur, Keith Jones, and Bobby Butler. Butler hit the heights tonight. Recover that fumble snap in the end zone for the go-ahead touchdown.
I think it'll be interesting here whether Oklahoma will elect to go for a 1st down on 4th. They've got 2 downs to make 10 yards. I really think that goes into the discussion right now with 2:37 left to play. If they get a good gainer on 3rd down, if they pick up 7 or 8 yards, I think on 4th down and 3 or 4, they'll have a go at it. They've got 2 timeouts left. They're 5 of 13 connecting on 3rd down conversions. It's not a high percentage, but I do believe if they get close, they'll have a go at it.
2:37 left to play. This, of course, culminating the college football season, the big bowl day. And the victors earlier today, Michigan in the Rose Bowl, which no doubt you saw here on NBC. And congratulations to the Dogs of Georgia, their victory over Notre Dame as they win the Sugar Bowl. Alabama rolls to victory in the Cotton Bowl today, and now with 2:37 left to play, number 2 ranked Florida State leading Oklahoma 17-10. Who is number 1? The Dogs of Georgia?
Listen, anybody can make a claim. It's the team that goes undefeated. When Arizona State was 12-0, they didn't get there. I think Georgia came into this ball game number 1. It's close. Florida State has impressed me, something I didn't expect to see, really.
Watts throws. Steve Rhodes catches the ball. It's a foot race. Rhodes has the hamstring pull. He'll have a problem, but he does get down to the 35-yard line. A great play by a young man who was not expected to play. 42 yards, and we talked about the Sooners and their ability to strike fast, and they do here. 2:26 to go.
What a great catch. This kid comes up injured. All of a sudden, you know he walked up to Barry Switzer and said, Coach, let me have a go at it. I'm not saving my leg for anything special. This means a little bit to all of us. He went in, not only ran a fine pattern, but took the ball away in the crowd. That's a fine catch. Puts him in field position.
JC's going to let it rip again. He's got the long one going. It's a little bit too long. As streaking down the far flank was the freshman sprinter, Jim Rockford.
And you notice Rhodes had to come out of the ball game. His leg will not let him go deep for the ball. He got one play out of it. Now let's take a look at the reception he did make. He ran down about 25 yards, went to the outside, got away from the defensive back. Had his leg been well, he may have been gone.
That's right. He had the defense to step on him when he got the ball. He had to take it away from a defender. Watts has put the ball up 9 times in the game, completed 5 for 106 yards, but you'll be seeing him pitch down the stretch here with 2:11 left to go. It's 2nd down and 10 for Oklahoma. Sooners are down by 7, 17-10. 2:10 left to play. Watts throws, man is open. He's got Chet Winters. And Winters puts a move on, dekes his man, and gets it down to the 22. It's a first down for Oklahoma, a 14-yard gain on the play.
You know, that's what goes unrecognized is some of the pass catching ability in the backs from Oklahoma. They don't throw the ball, so you don't know whether they're good pass receivers or not. That man took that ball like it was an extension of his arm, got away from a linebacker, and almost beat 2 more to get free.
There is, of course, in the event of a tie game, no overtime in college football, but there is the option for the 2-point conversion. You know, if Oklahoma gets in, they'll be doing that. It's intercepted and lost. Florida State's Gary Futch had the ball, was looking at the end zone, way downfield, 70 yards away. Whether he got in there is questionable, but he could have had an interception.
Well, those balls look so easy to catch, but you take a defensive tackle who's involved in the totality of the ball game, you'd think he could put it away, but he's wearing great big old gloves. That ball goes anywhere it wants to when they get their hands on it. Look at Jim Gilbert down on the bottom of the pile, forcing Watts to throw.
1:48 to go. It's 2nd down and 10 for the Sooners. Watts sent the rollout, stands in, eludes the rush. J.C. Watts has a channel. He gets a great block, and Watts is out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Terry Crouch, a 275-pound guard, literally put a Florida State defender flat on his back, and that gave J.C. Watts the room to go 11 yards. And the Sooners drive on. They could be going into the end zone, and then they'd go for 2 to try to get the win. With 1:38 to play now. What a game.
Just a man like J.C. Watts can make that play happen. Defensively, the play had no chance. Watts got out from 2 or 3 tacklers, outran the pursuit, picked up a first down. They've got 1:38 left to play. They've still got a couple timeouts remaining. They got all the time they need to do whatever they want, but they've got to get it here. I don't think they'd go for a tie if they do get it.
Coaches get old. This does the aging. Here's the throw. Oh, man, it was almost an interception by Jarvis Coursey. There was a Sooner, Jim Rockford, open in the end zone. The pass came in a little low. And Jarvis Coursey, defensive end who drops back like a linebacker, almost had it.
That would have topped off one of the finest performances that I've seen in the Orange Bowl from what is considered to be a steady, everyday, do-your-job yeoman football player. This guy has been truly outstanding. He's been in the right spot all night long, and he came up with a fine defensive play, did everything but get the ball.
.133 left to go. It's 2nd down and 10. Here's J.C. Watts with the throw, and a man has the ball in the end zone for a touchdown. Steve Rhodes gets it. He came back in. He wasn't supposed to play. He caught the 42-yarder, went out again with a hamstring, and J.C. Rhodes hurt, but fighting back. And Steve Rhodes and J.C. Watts hurt just as badly earlier in the game, fighting back himself. And they get Oklahoma in the end zone, and now with 1:27 left to play.
You can see they caught the Seminoles in a little bit of a mix-up defensively. They were caught right at the snap of the ball. They fast huddled them. They got up. Rhodes ran a fine pattern. J.C. put the ball where it had to be thrown because he couldn't have put a lot on the ball. He had to take enough off because you see Bobby Butler's in a pretty good position. He's got to leave it out there, let it hang a bit. Rhodes comes up with the ball. They're not going for any 1 point. Final lap.
Football game could be on the line with this play. J.C. rolls out, man is open. Oklahoma takes the lead as he hits Forrest Valora, his tight end. What a great, great drive. What a football game this is.
Don, that is the first time anyone has scored in the fourth quarter all year. With 3 minutes to go to end the season, it's only a team like Oklahoma that could put on a show like that. Give J.C. Watts credit. Give Rhodes credit. Give the whole group of Oklahoma Sooners credit because they kept their composure. That's a very hard thing to do when all the miners are going nuts. These guys have, and the game isn't over yet. There's still 1:27 left to play.
Here it is. J.C. Watts rolls out, lofts it high over the defense, and Forrest Valora comes down with the ball. He's made some big, big plays for Oklahoma. He makes one every time he tries to block because he's one of the best blockers in football.
Don't think that being a good blocker doesn't give you an edge because you can get out on those linebackers because they're concerned with you knocking them down.
Oklahoma rallies back, and Oklahoma takes the lead 18-17 in what has to be one of the great Orange Bowl games ever. Sit down and watch this whole thing back. It's been that good.
Kent! Hey, Kent! Where's Kent?
78 yards and 9 plays go the Sooners. 152 is all the time it took. And 127 is all that's left to play. The pressure's now on Florida State. Keeling, what's he going to try here? Not standing too far back from the ball, but he doesn't treat for a long kickoff.
He just shanked it, that's all.
Dennis McKinnon coming up with the ball, turns to the outside. McKinnon gets out across the 30 and goes out of bounds at the 31-yard line. There's Forrest Valora. Valora's going to be real happy.
They've got their own claim. They played great football the last 6 games of the year. A little mediocre early in the season. You can see why they think they can lay claim to number 1. You start at number 4, you play the way these two teams have. I think they're all number 1. I don't run into that picking stuff, and I don't think that the Bowl should have a playoff. I think the Orange Bowl is an entity in itself, the Rose Bowl. You name all the great bowl games, they put an awful lot of effort into it, and I think each has its own individual identity, and that's the way it should be.
Well, I know this, John, if they put Georgia and Florida State in the same field, I for one would stand in a long line to buy a ticket if there were any.
You've got it.
Right now, let's go back down to the sidelines to a great comeback player, J.C. Watts with Bob Trumpy.
All right, gentlemen, for 3 quarters, J.C. Watts on the bench with all kinds of injuries. He is ecstatic right now. J.C., you happy?
I love it, Bob. I love it, baby. We came back. We're showing people what kind of team we got. Hang on, defense! Get it, deep! We're showing the people what kind of team we got, baby. Bring on Georgia!
Bring on Georgia, you say.
Bring them on,
and the quarterback is down now for Florida State. Rick Stockstill injured an ankle. He's up and trying to walk it off. You have to put a hammerlock on him to get him out of the game. The Sooners since 1950, 5 national championship teams, 2 under Barry Switzer. 1973 into 1975, the Sooners went 37 games without a loss. Now back down to the sideline, Bob.
JC, co-MVP with Corsi from Florida State University, defensive.
Oh, God! Thank you.
That's 2 straight, man. What's next?
Oh, God, I don't know, boy. It's great. It's not over yet. We still got minute 16 seconds left. We got to get these 16 seconds off the clock. Come on, defense. Oh, no. Hi, Sherry White. Hi, Bell Blondie. Hi, Mom and Daddy. All of you follow. Come on, defense!
He might be as big as the Selman brothers in Eufaula.
Here comes
Jarvis Corsi of Florida State.
Let's find room.
Is the other co-MVP. What a brilliant game he's played. But this one isn't over yet. 1:16 left to play. Oklahoma driving for a go-ahead touchdown with the 2-point conversion, leading 18-17. And now they've taken out Stockstill and put in his backup, Kelly Lowry. Hands off to Sam Platt. He's stung as he goes down by Sitton and Richard Turner. And the game clock is down to 1:09 to play and stopped by a timeout for Florida State. Here's Kelly Lowry. He's actually in his 2nd year at Florida State. He has redshirted injuries as a freshman. Big quarterback, good runner.
Now, Rick has not been injured all year long. He's been able to get out there whenever they needed him in a tight spot. He has not got his druthers right now, and Lowry has got to put the ball up in the air. Remember, Florida State has 1 timeout left. Oklahoma has already used all of theirs. Now they're putting in Rick again. I guess if they have a shotgun formation, they would use it. I do not know if they have one, but the problem with Stockstill dropping back to throw right now is he can put no weight on his right ankle. We mentioned he had an Achilles problem early in the week. Seems to have come back on him right now. If he can find a way to move this ball down the field, he may be my new Superman.
And now back down to the sideline with 1:09 to play.
All right, the running team. Steve Rhodes comes up with the big catches. Congratulations, Val.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. That's what we try to do is make the big play. I was fortunate enough to get to.
Now, were you not supposed to be able to play tonight at all?
No, sir. I hadn't practiced since I practiced the first day and pulled a hamstring. So this is the first time I've been suited up since we've been here, and I just feel real fortunate.
Back to live action.
Stockstill is back in. He stands in and he throws. It's completed, but for a loss of yardage. Back to the 29-yard line with 1:01 left to play. Now down to 57 seconds in running. Minus 2 yards on the play. So what looked up until the closing minutes to be a great Florida State victory has now turned to Oklahoma.
In this case, it's not closed yet, man. It looks dim, but it's not closed.
42 seconds left. Time is called, and we'll be back with the concluding seconds of one of the great bowl games ever right after this message. Phil Williams there, 87, just cut a ball downfield for a Florida State first down, a 17-yard gain, and 37 seconds left to play.
Remember, a field goal is all they need.
That's right. They're down by a point as Florida State. Stockstill, timing pattern, looks, throws in the flat to Ricky Williams.
Get out of bounds, Rick.
Oklahoma keeps him in bounds. He's down to the 46-yard line, and a timeout is signaled for and allotted with 25 seconds to play.
It's not a timeout.
No.
It's a move the chain. They're holding the clock up, so they better get ready. He was fortunate he picked up a first, so they moved the chain, saved about 12 seconds.
There's Bill Capice, the kicker from Florida State. Stockstill throws against the man. It's
they better
down
get
to
it
the
up.
45-yard line.
Get on the line of scrimmage.
Clock is running. 14 seconds, 13 seconds, 11 seconds.
Can they kick 163 yards?
You better get a play.
Better get the ball off.
Game clock down to 2 seconds. The official calls a timeout.
They've got it.
Just withhold 5 seconds. Let's not go through all that. Just tell them you go count 5 before you start the clock. We're going to be all right. Just tell them you go straight. How you going to have it, Dean? I'll go a little bit. An injured player, we call timeout. 5 seconds left on the clock. Now, we're going to get 5 seconds. We get up over the ball. I'm going to start on the ready, but he'll get the snap block. All I can do is we'll have to kick it now.
Bowden's telling them to tell the kickers that. They've got to snap the ball within 5 seconds of when they start it. They're going to start the clock. They better get it off because it's not going to wait until the snap of the ball.
No.
62-yard attempt. He can kick it that far.
Well, we saw Willie kick 153 that could have gone 65.
We're going to put 5 more on there, 5 seconds total.
There'll be some people doing full gainers out of the upper deck if this goes through.
They're going to put 5 more seconds on the clock, they said. I think they're going to put 5 altogether on the clock. We'll see what they do.
While we have a moment, our special thanks to executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Omeyer, coordinating producer of football Ted Nathanson. Tonight's game produced by Michael Wiseman, directed by John Gonzalez, technical director Horace Ruiz, halftime producer Randy Wands, associate director Richard Klein, associate producers Bill Peters and Glenn O'Donnell, production manager John Wendell, and now we come down to the last play. The ball is kicked. It's on the way. It's going to come up short. And the game clock winds out. And the Oklahoma Sooners, for the 3rd time in the last 4 years, or actually the 4th time in the last 5 years, win the Orange Bowl Now let's go down to the sidelines to Bob Trumpy. I don't know if he can talk.
That's all right. That's all right. What do you think? That's got to be one of the greatest Orange Bowls ever played, Barry.
Super. Our offense nearly gave it to them, and they came back and won it. It's just unbelievable. Great finish. NBC's got to love it. It's a great finish. That's right.
What a game it was. Our thanks to spotters Ned Smith and Travis Lawrence, to NBC statistician Steve Dance, and to all our NBC crew for a great night of football. The 47th Orange Bowl game. The Oklahoma Sooners with one of their great come-from-behind victories ever. They win the game coming from behind in the closing minutes, 18-17. Now for John Brody and Bob Trumpy, this is Don Crookie. A very happy new year and a great 1981.